Welcome to the Pitmaster Podcast. We're barbecue competition competitors.
All right, Pitmasters, on the show today we have Marissa Ouverson,
tall tales about our favorite
won
pastime.
the World
Head
Championship in steak last year, which is coming up real quick.
Follow us on your favorite social media platform.
2 weeks from now?
Yeah.
I struggle
it gets technically
finding out what judges truly like.
episode.
I
So
may
you're
love
going
it,
down?
and then
Yep.
I get my scores
Okay.
back, and I get like
Excited?
a 46.
Yeah,
So
I just
I
don't know what to
always
expect.
try to, when I taste my practice
Oh.
steak, I
Well,
don't want it to be
you know,
too
I'll
chewy,
tell you.
but I
So
also don't
this
want it
thing
to
called
be
the
to the
SCA.
point where they're
Yeah.
trying to like just
And
chew
what
and
they'll
chew
do is
and
they
chew,
cook
and it's just
steak,
getting
and it's a
more and more
ribeye.
tough.
Really?
So that
an eighth of an inch.
I feel like
inch
there's
and
a
an eighth.
fine line,
You know,
and
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like
You wanna
that
cook it
fine
medium?
line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question. Do I use...
Here are the hosts of the
do I use
Pitmaster
grill much or do I
Podcast,
sear?
Rusty Monson, head
Oh, you sear.
Pitmaster of Salt City Barbecue,
And to get that beautiful
the
series
two-time
for
Grand
Windex.
Champion Pitmaster
Got
of
it.
Smoked
So the
and
Windex is
Choke
the key.
Barbecue.
Did you see Scott Harris tagged
Yeah, that
us
was
this
funny.
week?
That was
because
funny.
he picked up on his Windex and he did pretty well
He did.
down in St. George. So
People don't understand it's a secret weapon.
yeah.
Spray Windex on your steak, people. You will thank me never.
Please don't do that for your safety.
Speaking of ramping up to the Worlds, you were just down kind of the last practice, and that was in St. George, and you took 7th. Is that
Yeah,
right?
7th out of 44 teams.
44 teams.
Yep.
So congratulations on that.
Thank
So
you.
that's second time in a row you've top 10'd it.
Yep.
Top 5, third last time, 7th this time in a pretty big field.
Yeah.
So what are you doing differently now that you didn't used to?
Team Marcus Hippie.
That's it.
Pretty much. Brennan, Brennan from down there in Richfield. What's his name? Severe
Sevier County.
Barbecue. Oh, gosh, I can't remember his actual team name.
Severe Barbecue Addicts. Is that what
There it is? Maybe. Sorry, Brandon. But he turned me on to Moo Magic that I've been using as my marinade, and that seems to be helping me out a little bit. So
Moo Magic is...
yeah, it's a marinade / tenderizer, but it's not as aggressive as like some of your other ones. Marissa's going to talk about on this episode.
Right. So yeah, that's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
Obviously cooking it right is a proper thing, is how you really do it.
And honestly, dude, I gotta be biased here, but I think the needle probe, the 2.5 needle probe from ThermoWorks is definitely up my game because I can actually find that perfect spot to get my doneness, because my doneness has been hitting pretty well.
Yeah, that's important. Tenderness and doneness.
Yep.
In that order.
Taste.
Tenderness, taste, doneness.
Yep.
So that's cool. So then you're
Thank
kind
you.
of feeling ready for Worlds then?
Yeah, so I'm going down there. AJ, my son, qualified for the ancillaries. So I'm going to go down there and help coach him and try to help him execute the best cook that he possibly can. And then since I'm down there, I might as well just cook the Cowtown Classic.
Oh, wait, you did not get your golden ticket.
I did not qualify.
Why did I think you did?
I have no. Well, I'm going to be there,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
but I'm going to cook the Cowtown.
I thought your third got passed down. I guess I'm remembering it
Yeah,
wrong.
we don't want to talk about that because 4th place would have been the pass down. I would have got, but it was right there. It was so close.
That sucks. So the St. George competition was the first in the
Barbecue Pits Championship Series.
So that was a cool event. I heard it was really cool. I heard tenderness was quite. The scoring was a little on the low side.
Yeah,
which is strange to me because Terrell is our rep here. Terrell Miller,
yes,
fantastic lady, and I have been in her meetings and her classes. And she basically takes people and grabs them by the neck and says, "Score high, you punk."
right.
And they still don't.
Right.
So all I'm saying, if you're out there blame the judges, not the rep. The reps try. It's still in the judge's hands. So yeah, was it tenderness that was getting everybody down there?
Yeah, man. Let me see. It was a really low scoring competition.
You got 7th with what one?
I got
245 or
245.8. First place won it all with 251.1.
And that's Jim Williams. Is that Jim's?
That
steak?
was no, he was Steak B.
Okay.
So Steak B was even a little bit more surprising. He won it with a 240 with a 247.6.
Jeez, a 240, and there was like 30 teams in Steak B, 38 teams or something like that.
Yeah, there was 35 teams. Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah, it was pretty low scoring. But then again, I hate to say it again, but it was a judging class. Some new judges. They're probably a little nervous. They were trying to fill it out. So I think the green tongue, I should say, was came into play a little bit. I hate to blame that, but I think that does come into play just a little bit because they're still trying to find their ground. They're trying to figure out what they're really looking for. Going from a steak class to judging a minimum of 35 steaks is quite a bit of an adjustment. So,
it's cool, but in Utah, there's so many more state competitions. And at first it was so humdrum and, we were all out there with our PKs because that's all we knew or our Webers, and fast forward to today, just a few years later, just 2 years later, and everyone's sponsored by major teams, M girls everywhere, all this stuff. It's crazy to see how that sport's grown, especially in this area. So I don't think that it's gonna be too much longer before these judges really catch on and get the rhythm and
I won't be surprised in the next 2 to 3 comps. You won't top 10 unless if you're at a 250,
which I think would be great. And so if you're in a region now that's kind of starting out and this is the same case as you just it'll change. Yeah. We've already seen it where we have most of them coalesce, or what is this word I'm looking for? All in one spot. We've already seen those scores get real high. So it'll all pan out. So I'm really excited about that.
For sure.
But, our friend Kyle Maniszewski.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that. He gave me some packages and he said
he wants us to open them on air.
Yeah. He owes us $30,000 for this promotion.
We take payments.
Yeah. We'll put you on the full
This
payment.
is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grab your keys.
Let's open your box here.
Oh, I have a box. Okay. So he got me one too. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Kyle. Kyle Maniszewski, by the way, you're behind barbecue, also YSB, not only killing it in the barbecue world, but in the SCA world as well. Came out with,
let's see what he got going on here. It actually drops today, Thursday.
Oh, nice. Okay. So I'm going to wait for Anthony to.
Yeah. I opened Rusty's first.
So. Yeah, he did. He opened it for me. Yeah. All right, new logos for You're Behind Barbecue.
Yeah, we got let's see. It's like Christmas.
Yeah. Looks like if you guys want to check it out, Kyle's actually been on our show 2 different times, so you can go and check those out.
We got a couple things here. Oh, we got Turn Up Cartel shirts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Turn Up Cartel
Hell yes.
All
right, Kyle, here's your test. Hold on, let's see what the size is. Hold on, what's the size? Got to check out the size here. 2XL. I don't know if I want to be like
2XL
because he freaking crushed the size. And that's sad that he crushed the size.
Yeah, so it looks like he hooked us up with some t-shirts and some stickers.
If you guys don't know, so we got a You're Behind Barbecue shirt.
Yeah.
And a turnip soup. No, I didn't get one. I just got the.
Oh, so he packed them double here. So we got to switch. There we go.
Switch. And a turnip soup. So turnip soup, if you guys don't know, there's a lot of story behind that. You can actually listen to his episode and find that out. But long story short, that's anytime they ask him what he cooked, he always says turnip soup. There's a story behind it. Check it out.
Should we blow him up on Facebook and see if he answers so we can tell him thank you? Should we gamble? Let's try this. Let's go. No, you don't want to try it? Kyle, thank you.
And so we also got the new rub, which is a green chili bacon rub. No, I haven't, but I'm going to try it right now.
He gave me a sample down in Bullhead City and it was spot on. And he goes, I need to make a little bit of tweaks, but then he made some tweaks, dude. This isn't a competition rub. This is just put it on your kitchen table rub.
Okay, I'm trying right now. This is a live test.
Yes, here we go. That might be too hot for you.
Wow. That's really good.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Green chili bacon rub. You can't go wrong with either one of those.
That's really good. It's spicy. Man, that'd be great on literally everything.
That's what I'm saying. You put it on your kitchen table and just leave it. Put it on everything.
Got to drink of water, that one. But you guys have to understand one thing. Yeah. It's got the perfect amount of spice. I am the biggest wuss there ever was on this planet. Mild salsa, too spicy for me.
I hate to say this and put it on blast a little bit, but I know Kyle's trying to keep some secrets, but you can't keep a secret too long if you're especially going to drop a bottle on the internet live and releasing it on Thursday. But notice what I see on the side of this bottle. It says, as seen on Food Network's Fire Master. That's some breaking news. Kyle, we need to ask you about that.
That's a joke because that's so great. That's one of my favorite shows.
Right? So there must be some breaking news that he forgot to tell us about. Yep. So Sorry,
get a
Kyle.
drop
This
on
is what happens when you leave it to the media to expose you.
That was really tasty. That aftertaste is really awesome. There's so many things you can do with this.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got smoky to it. It's got a bacon flavor. You can tell the green chilies, and then that heat creeps up at the end.
Yep.
That's really good. That's got a lot going on. So again, you're behind barbecue. You got to check it out, guys. Yeah, that's awesome. You can follow him at You're Behind Barbecue on all of the socials, even on YouTube.
Yeah. And
or go to yourbehindbbq.com.
You might be able to find him on TikTok dancing. He asked us to do a TikTok dance, and then I don't know what happened to it.
Oh,
so
I even got a sticker.
Yeah.
Dude, this is sick. All right, cool. We did that for our buddy Kyle.
Yep.
You guys, like I said, he's been on the show twice. You can check it out. Probably on the show again down the road. He's got a lot going on all the time, so it's always great talking to him.
Yep.
And besides the review, what else we got?
That's about it. I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's traveling to Texas. Get there safely. Tejas. Yep. So other than that, for you local people that are listening to this in the Utah region, West Coast region, make sure you get signed up for that ThermoWorks competition. That one is a single, but come out and cook at that one. And then make sure you sign up if you want to learn how to judge. They are having a judging course prior to that ThermoWorks. So you can just go to SCA. So you can go
we just talked about that.
I know exactly. but we need more judges. We need more people out there to help. And so, yeah, get involved. Be a team player in this SCA game, and
I'll be there whether I'm judging or cooking. I'll probably be judging. And let's be honest, guys, I want to compete. I really do. And there's a couple barbecue comps I will do, but man, it's hard.
Yeah.
So I'll probably be judging more often than not, if not all. So.
That's the number one question. People even ask, "Hey, Anthony, how are you?" It's where's Rusty? He said he was going to be here.
I did, and I had a catering. I mean, I'm glad because I got sicker than a dog.
It's all good. No, and I tell people that all the time. I'm like, you got to make money for that food truck. You're invested so deep. That's priority one versus hanging out and judging. So
it's hard because, like, you know, even though I don't have an event, I don't want to sit there and worry about the next event, getting scheduled, scheduling, prep, buying all the food, get everything together that requires to go to an event, and then go, oh, I have to go relearn how to cook a steak because I haven't cooked one since Richfield to cook. And it's just not on the radar right now.
No, that truck's priority one. You're in the hole right now, technically. So time to dig out of that hole and make yourself successful to where you can get to that brick and mortar and you can just bounce and leave it on the employees.
That's right.
So boom.
Okay, guys, let's leave you with a review real fast. This one is from DD Walls. I don't know how if I'm saying these right.
You're not, but it's okay.
There's a fire emoji. DDWALZ fire emoji.
So fire.
The walls fire. Fire to the walls fire.
There it is.
Is that how you say it?
Like I'm going with it.
I've been listening to the podcast for about 4 months now after meeting Anthony of ThermWorks while in Salt Lake City for work. I really enjoyed the plethora of guests they bring on from the competition barbecue scene, SCAs, barbecue restaurants, barbecue influencers. I appreciate the engaging conversations, touching on experiences, cooking techniques, or product preferences. For anyone in the barbecue scene, give this podcast a listen. Fire to the walls fire. We appreciate it. That's awesome. Keep them coming.
Yes.
Keep them coming.
Right.
Makes us feel good about ourselves.
It sure does, doesn't it?
It sure does. Brings a smiley face to my face.
Brings you an emoji, smiley face, emoji, smiley face.
Makes me, exactly. Brings me a fire, RR, smiley face.
Got it.
Wow. Marissa Ouverson, everyone. Check it out and hope you learn lots. If not, guys, we'll see you next week. Well, you will, but we'll see you next week regardless.
We call it Thermapen 1, the first true 1-second cooking thermometer. Its unprecedented speed means Thermapen 1's responsiveness approaches the speed of thought. Because when you're plating the perfect menu or smoking the perfect side of barbecue, you don't have time to think about how your instant read thermometer is accurate to 0.5 degrees in 1 second or less, or how rugged and waterproof it is, or how big, elegant, and bright the backlit display is. You'll just know it works, because our perfection powers your perfection. Seek perfection. with Thermapen 1.
All right, Masters, on the show today, we have Marissa Ouverson, who is like this, I don't know, like, is there higher than a state queen?
No. State goddess.
There's a state goddess.
Yeah.
She won worlds. She has her own freaking class on the BBQ Academy, which I would love to. Listen, Mike, I can teach. I can. I don't know what.
Are you gonna teach people not how to go to competitions?
Yeah, how to avoid competitions, Mike. That's an important skill. Right. Anyway, Marissa, sorry. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Dude, killing it right now.
First of all, let's just stop right here for the YouTube. Go ahead and flash the ring. Go ahead and hold it up next to.
Oh, I got the little one on.
Oh, you don't have the big. Oh, she's like, I got the baby one on, and it's still.
That's awesome.
Hi, this is Greg Rempe, host of the Barbecue Central Show, and you're listening to the Pitmasters Podcast.
How cool was that? Talk to us about that day.
Oh, so amazing. After my mom videos, one time someone said I had amazing facial expressions when I walked. And so from then on, she videoed every time we went to awards. So she got the whole thing on video. She got me getting my number called, me finding out, me on stage, everything. And I'm so glad she did, because I do not remember a thing. It was just all a blur.
You're like, did you even know they called your number? You're like, what? Or it's the name, right?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Number. What's the number? Like, I was sitting there and I was like waiting, and I was like, oh, that has to be someone else. And then like I looked down again and I was like, nope, that's me.
That's crazy.
It was.
The thing is that leading up to that, it's not just like you came out of the woodwork to win worlds. It's not how that worked. I mean, you were doing really, really well for leading up to that for quite a while. So like, how did that come about? Like, where did you start? I know, because your brother Matt, who's been on the show before, he does steak. Was it something that he got you into? Where did this interest in steak come from?
I went to Worlds when he walked as points champion, and he let me cook his practice steak, and I loved it. I thought it was so cool. And so after that, when we went into COVID shutdown, my Iowa State went online like everyone else did, and my mom and I decided, I was like, Mom, this is the time, like, let's go cook. And she goes, all right. So from then on out, I competed every weekend. I cooked 51 times from the end of May on. And I was hooked.
So 51 times. I would hope so. Right. So, how many things would you do 51 times and be like, you know what?
I hate this.
This wasn't for me.
So you started cooking, but how many cooks did it take for you to get that first walk? Were you lucky enough to be the beginner's luck and walk your first comp?
I was. I walked my first comp in Steak B. So my brother walked 8th in Steak A, and then I walked 8th in Steak B. So.
Wow. Nice. That's really cool.
That always hooks you up the first walk.
Oh yeah.
You're done.
Yeah. I took 5th place chicken out of 10 teams, and I was. Yeah. That was it for me. Yeah. To the moon. That was the best ever. I can't remember 4 people. I'm better than you. I'm going to make a career out of this. I'm going to start a podcast.
And here we are.
It worked.
So you did 51 competitions. You did really well. I remember talking to Matt. He's like, yeah, you got to get Marissa on. She's like on fire right now. And like, you really, really were. Like, what do you think it was that, just you kind of, it's not really beginner's luck, because you were very successful on the trail and you had been leading up to worlds and still are. What was it that, did you just practice a lot, or how did that come about? How did you get so good so quickly?
My mom says it's because I'm so OCD. So I had an exact routine every single time. I never strayed away from it. I kept an Excel spreadsheet of every single flavor profile for every single comp. And I recorded my doneness to see I recorded my internal temperature to look at my doneness, and my spreadsheet has everything on there. And I would go back after every competition and check it and see what I did differently than last time. And I would always make tweaks off of that Excel sheet. And then once I found a flavor profile I loved, I kept it, and I have not changed since.
Never at all.
Never.
Not even a little bit. That's cool.
I have 2 flavor profiles, one for north and one for south. So like Minnesota, Iowa, sometimes Kansas City, and then one for south. So
nice. So where did you build your flavor profile? Did you just take your brother's and then just went from there, or?
My brother gave me a box of all of his seasonings, and he was like, these 4 match well and these 3 match well. Try them all, and then if you don't like them, just do something your own. And I was like, all right. So I started practicing, and there was a couple of weeks when we ate steak all the time, and it got so tiring. But I finally found a flavor profile that I liked and that the judges ended up liking. So,
is the Iowa flavor profile the Tears of Hawkeyes fans?
Oh,
salty,
definitely. Oh, yeah,
really salty.
Really salty.
Yeah.
We make that joke because you're Iowa State.
Yes,
which is the gosh, we had this.
You
we
were
talking about this earlier.
I know it, but I want to see you get it. There you go.
What's the difference between a cyclone and a hurricane? Really, I'm asking honestly. Do you know, Marissa?
Cyclone, like just wind, and then hurricane, water.
So a cyclone is pretty much like a tornado that doesn't touch down.
So wait, you're saying the Iowa State's like a poor man's hurricane?
Close. A hurricane comes off the ocean, and a cyclone is land and water.
Is it that? But it just doesn't touch. Are you know that for a fact?
It's a ballpark.
Anyway, let's get back. We're talking.
Wow.
Anyway, so you tweak the profile, and what do you think the most important part is? Is you think that taking those notes and dialing it in? And actually, I wanted to really back up. I made the joke, but I want to know, because I'm someone who feels like region is kind of a thing. And we live in Utah, and we cannot win in Arizona. It just doesn't happen. And it's just this thing. And Arizona can't win here. And there's a profile difference here that no one's really cracked the code on. So what is the difference between a northern steak and a southern steak for you?
The flavor in general doesn't have a big difference. I think for the South, it's maybe a tad bit more peppery, but the salt's the same. And I always had a problem because I love salt. And so I would always, when I was practicing, my steaks were a little bit too salty. And I would ask like all the cooks around me, and they'd be like a little too salty. So I'd have to like tweak like my salt in it. And I'd have to figure out if I could change something and still make it like a good flavor profile. So I finally got it down to where I would like change like my layering and how much I would layer. And then I could do it both north and south, because I just didn't want to have 2 different flavor profiles, because it just wasn't something that I was comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can't crack the Arizona code. I don't know what it is.
Is there a difference between north and south in the type of steak, or you try hard or spinalis cook, or does it just not matter? It's just all comes down to flavor. Have you picked that up on your spreadsheet?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it depends on just the cooks in general. I mean, the judges always change, the steaks always change. Nothing's ever the same. And I think you either have a day where everything goes perfectly, or a day that just wasn't your day.
Right. Because I've noticed some judges, they prefer more of a tender steak versus, a little bit more bounce to it. But
yeah,
and you can get that off your try hearts. You get a lot. They like the tenderness.
Do you do try hearts, Marissa? Is that
I do try hearts.
Okay, so that's
yep. I started with spinalis. But then I went to try heart, and I love cooking try hearts more than spinalis. I would not choose to cook a spinalis these days.
Do you find that the try hearts, like the try heart itself, cooks a little differently? I mean, do you struggle with like a medium rare and then a medium? And how do you prevent that from happening?
I always cook a practice steak on steak A, and I always try to, if I cut it open and I see that's a little bit too red or not red, or like a little too brown, I always just go up and down a degree or 2. But I always cook a practice steak, and I have like these like 4 to 5 numbers where I always stay around, unless sometimes the steaks are just so weird and I'm going way above what I normally do or way below what I normally do.
And what numbers are you talking about? Like temperature?
Yeah, for internal temperature.
Okay, cool. And so how do you like get those? Are you someone who probes them constantly, or?
I use a dot. I use the dot, and then I just put it through my M-girl hole, and then I let it sit there the whole time when I put it on my riser. I don't use it while I'm doing my flips, but only when it's sitting on my riser.
Okay. That's cool.
Just a little plug there. She's using the ThermoWorks.
ThermoWorks dot. Friend of the show, ThermoWorks.
Yes.
Who we love dearly.
Yeah. You gotta get you one of those squares. The square dots are amazing, by the way.
And soon it'll be a
triangle
dot.
Triangle dot.
And when they're done with the triangle dot, it'll be a rectangle dot. A diamond dot.
Yeah.
That's actually cool. A diamond dot. There you go. Speaking of though, so let's talk about steak, because I've been searing a lot of steak lately, and that's kind of my gig. I try to do the sear thing. I'm going to do this stupid thing where I feel like if I can win with a sear, that it's going to change everything, and that people don't always have to use grill grates, and I'm a hero, and they're going to build statues of me in Fort Worth, Texas. And it's unrealistic and it sucks. So I'm thinking about going back to the normal steaks. And so getting back into the fold and trying to do those things. I feel like I'm kind of new at it because it's been so dang long since I've actually grilled a steak on a grill grate. So let's say that a lot of people out there who are looking to get into steaks, or maybe they're struggling with steaks. What are some tips? Let's just say, what is your most important thing when it comes to cooking a steak? Like, where, if you had to say one thing is the most important thing, what is it? As far as
I think something that people don't always think about is the temperature of the grill grates. I think that makes a huge difference in what your steak looks like.
Right. And where do you temp those? Do you temp them on the top or the valley?
On the top.
Okay. And what kind of temperature are you looking for?
Not probably. I try to never go as low as 525. And then when it starts to hit about 570, I kind of get a little nervous.
Okay. That's a small window compared to a lot of people, I think. That's okay. And so in that kind of consistency, is that just part of it, just because that's what the temperature is, the results of it constantly, what you're going to get from it.
Yes.
Cool. And I'm sure you can learn all this in your class, which is really cool. You did a BBQ Champs Academy class.
I did.
I think you're the last person to do one. I don't think he was released one since you.
Not yet.
Which is cool. He's like, I did it. We got Marissa Ouverson. Done. Call it. That was cool. Tell us, before we get back into the steak stuff, because you can learn a lot more about what she does, and it's kind of a tell-all. It is a tell-all. Over the BBQ Champs Academy, and you can go buy that class right now, and you get a lot of cool stuff, because with those classes you can do a Facebook chat, which you'll get a special page, and it's really cool because you can go in there and ask a lot of questions, and if you have any questions about a cook, you can ask you and say, hey, what would I do here, and all that fun stuff. So it's a cool thing to do. What else did you do in that? Did you just do that, or did he make you do did you just do the steak, or did you have to do something else too?
Beside, or
I did tacos.
Can't go wrong with a taco.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about like procedure, and we're not going to get into any kind of flavor profiles or anything like that. But procedure, I think, is important. And first of all, you start with a spreadsheet, which for someone like me is really, really important, because I'm the worst when it comes to remembering anything. And like today, for example, in this interview, 3 things now? So like writing stuff down is really important. Following that list and dialing those things in and knowing where I'm at all the time is really important. But when it comes down to it, so when you go select a steak, right, you're looking obviously for a try hard. Is there anything else you're looking for in that steak process?
Pretty marbling, and if there's any large or through and through fat lines on like the I don't like them being in either the hearts, but like mainly in the middle. I really try to stay away from those because I don't want to hit them with my probe while I'm cooking, because that just like spikes real quick, and then you can just get nervous and kind of start questioning where your doneness really is.
Is thickness a big deal? I mean, sometimes when they do cuts, they're pretty consistent, but are you looking for a thicker steak if you can get one, or what kind of when you see one, what the thickness of it, what's more important? Small, big, what are you looking for?
If I had to go with small or big, I would go with big because I know that I have more time to adjust. If it's small and I don't have the correct time, it could go over my preferred doneness like that. So I always try to go thicker if it is small, if it is thinner or thicker steaks.
That's a good one. So
after steak selection, do you take it back and put it back in the fridge or chill it more, or do you just get to work and just leave it out for the rest of the comp?
If it was too warm or already starting to fall apart, really wiggly, I try to put it back, I do put it back on ice. But if it's still pretty dense ice, I heat my steaks more than the normal person does before I cook. So I try to leave it out just so it's constantly rising.
Do you use Wicked Pig?
I do use Wicked Pig.
You know what's funny? Can I tell you a story? I just want to put you on the spot. Just in case. No, I don't actually. So I have a friend who's one of the best cooks I know as far as in the barbecue world. His name is Matt Hansen of Crooked Pigs. And I love telling this story. But he wanted to change his profile for his brisket. So he put Wicked Pig in his brisket overnight. Probably one of the best. If he tried hard, he'd probably be one of the best brisket cooks in the nation. Putting Wicked Pig on a brisket overnight. Jeez, the heck. He gets into it. It's all smashy, and I'm like, dude, you know what? That
made a nice brisket pate for crackers.
It's like, did you read the instructions? It says like 5 to 10 minutes, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, but so you go to steak selection and you keep it, and when do you season? Like, is there like, what kind of process do you do as far as seasoning? Are you someone who likes to season way before or just right before?
Way before, just so they can start sweating, really gets into your steak. That's the way I found that I get the most flavor. So before.
Okay. And then profiles and stuff like that, you guys can go to that class and learn all that stuff. And so, but we want to kind of learn about different kind of steak things when it comes to tenderness. Like, what do you think judges look for? Because in for me, it's really hard to get tenderness. That's kind of, in my opinion, it's like you either win or you lose by tenderness. And that's just kind of the game. So what is your tips for tenderness for a steak for the people out there trying to work on that, like me?
That texture is something that I struggle finding out what judges truly like. I may love it, and then I get my scores back and I get like a 46. So I always try to, when I taste my practice steak, I don't want it to be too chewy, but I also don't want it to be to the point where they're trying to like just chew and chew and chew, and it's just getting more and more tough. So that I feel like there's like a fine line, and I really like that fine line. So just trying to get it to enough where you still have like that bite, but you're not just like ripping it apart.
Yeah, it was weird because one of my first ever judging experiences for SCA, I was biting into stuff and I was like, oh, this is great. You know, and they'd go around and we have a minute to talk about it. I'm like, oh, that steak was, I love the texture. That texture was, man. I'm like, what? No wonder. Yeah. It's like, so it's interesting how, opinionated people are about texture, which is, you think it's kind of universal, but it's not. Some people like mushy, some people like a little bit of bite, some people don't. Like falling apart, you know, in your mouth. Like, I don't know what people are looking for, and it's kind of hard, you know, to do. But you know, it's something that's like wildly important, if not the most important thing ever. So I don't know. It's it's interesting. Do you think it's like steak to steak? Is there something that you can look for in a steak in a selection that might help?
Probably the only thing that would be marbling. But right now, steaks do not have a lot of marble. So that's just something that's like right now really tough to figure out. Because when you look at it, unless there's marbling, you don't know whether that steak is going to be chewy or fall apart in your mouth, buttery, you know. So, but marbling would be like the biggest look. When I look at a table and I see marbling, I would be happy.
Is that kind of what you'd pick? I mean, let's say you see a really marbled steak and it's super marbled, but there's no tri-heart and it's kind of a meh spinalis, or you have a no marbled tri-heart. What would you pick?
No marble tri-heart.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. And I think that helps too. The try hard's definitely something that helps, because you think it would be closer to that, chuck area. So it's a little, or, it's the closest part. It's more meaty. It's probably more tender. It's more tender meat. So,
right. Marissa, what we need you to do is you need to go to your engineering department at your college and have them come up with a machine where they can have them measure tenderness. So it's one of
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and you just put a little machine over there and tells you like pounds per inch or something like that, and we can know tenderness.
They would do it too. They would.
Oh man,
listen, it's the Cyclones. All right, they're still trying to figure out how they can be better than a hurricane. They got a lot on the plate right now. Okay, like gosh, well, how do we just get water?
Marissa, if you go and do that and you come up with this invention, can you at least just fund the podcast? That's all we ask.
I will.
Do that.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, I will.
Perfect.
The Pitmasters podcast brought to you by Marissa Ouverson. That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
So let's talk about, so you're in college right now. I'm going to be all over the place in this interview because it's been a long day.
You're good.
And I'm talking to humans, which, I get like, humans. If, so you go into college, you're just like, you're just a random lady who just kicks ass at steak. Is that something that a lot of people know? Like when you're going to school, like, oh, dude, do they know that you do this?
No, when I won Worlds, I came back to school, and so I'm in a sorority, and we have a group chat with like every single sorority member. And one of the women in my sorority texted the group chat, was like, "Congratulations to Marissa on winning your steak thing." And I was like, and I thought it was so funny because like no one like ever knew, but then my Instagram like blew up with like all of like the things that I reposted, and like then everyone knew. And I got back and they were like, "You cook steaks?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do."
Do you have to cook them for the sorority parties now? Like, is that all they want you to do?
They always ask, "Will you cook me a steak sometime?" And I'm like, "Yes, I will."
Right? It's like $50 though. Yeah.
Pay for your own steak.
Exactly.
I don't know, when you win something like world champion, and you're 21 years old, and doing all that stuff in the world of there's a lot of people in this world, and that's such a big deal. Like you kind of became a household name in the State Cook-Off Association, and more. And it's just interesting, because it's kind of one of those sports where you do it, and for a good amount of people, you're like a celebrity, and then for the majority of everyone else in the whole planet, you're like just Marissa Ouverson.
Yeah,
that's got to be a trip, especially because when you're 21, like I don't even know what I was doing. I was playing D&D in a basement somewhere, I think. I
was definitely blackout drunk somewhere.
Yeah. But I certainly wasn't like winning state championships, and I think that's super cool. And so I don't know. It's interesting to think about, in that world, because you're just kind of, a lot of people would do what you do, and they kind of say, "Oh, I've done this. I'm going to take this as far as I can, and I'm going to come out with a rub. I'm going to come out with whatever." And they do this thing, and you're just kind of, is that something that, I mean, you did the Champs Academy and all that stuff. Is that something you were trying to do, get into more, kind of push that envelope a little bit?
I will, and I want to push the envelope. Right now, my main focus is school. I have 2 more months left of this, and then I have graduate school. I will go to doctorate. I'll get my doctorate. So it's always something in the back of my mind. When I think of something good, I sit down with my family and we talk about it, and we always try to like figure out that one thing that I'm going to do. And but right now it's just mostly school. It has been for the past year. So I would love to do something, and it's always, it will happen in the future.
What do you get your degree in, by the way?
I'm majoring in psychology, and then I'm minoring in children, adult, and family services, and I'll do clinical counseling.
Oh, so this is like the perfect career for you. So when we have mental breakdowns of the competitions, you will be able to, pay for your service. Like, I don't know how it lasts, and you can charge.
Yeah. That's what you'll do, Marissa.
Yeah.
I'll be the on-site therapist.
Yeah, perfect.
That's what you can do. And Lord knows after the awards, you're gonna be slamming, right?
Oh yeah.
She's gonna just have Xanax and just like a Pez dispenser. Take this.
But that's kind of a big deal. I mean, that's kind of a career move. Like that's something you would do. I mean, it's hard to like do what you're doing for school and doing the SCA bit, or whatever it may be. Because it's funny because almost everyone in that position does, they try and come out their own rub immediately and stuff like that. So for this and you do a really good job with it. Do you still do a lot of competitions? Do you plan on doing a lot of competitions this year?
I haven't been able to cook in 2022. In 2021, I still competed 31 times. So I still got a few competitions in 2021, but after school, I'll definitely start doing more competitions. Right now, I just try to do all of like the foundation ones or like the big ones, So I cook at Jesse Dillon James and I did the Gene Potts Memorial Cook. So just the ones that go towards something or that I have like a special bond with. So. And
you cook on M grills?
I do.
An M16, right?
I do. Yes.
I assume. Grates grills. They're freaking awesome.
They are.
What made you go with the M grills?
Sorry, what?
What made you go with M grill?
I cooked on a PK, and that was just because Sandy had an extra one, and I bought it off of her. And so, what?
Sandy Brown.
Sandy Brown, yes, Sandy Brown. And so I just started on that, got a hang of it, liked it. Tim and Sandy started cooking on M Girls, and I went over and she talked it all out to me, and I loved the look of it. It looked so amazing, and I thought it was the coolest grill ever. And then she approached Matt, Mark, Jeffrey, and I, and she was like, if you want, Travis said that we can all start cooking on M Grills, Team M Grills, and I immediately said yes. And from then on out, I will never go back to another grill. I love that thing so much.
I would love one if I could carry it.
You too old to carry one?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I don't know if I told anyone on the podcast yet, but I bent over to do nothing and pulled my back out.
Picked up an olive?
Yeah, and I pulled my back, dude. And for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, you were wounded.
I was bad shape.
Yeah, you were.
I can carry an M grill.
Those things are heavy.
Oh, they're tanks. They're legit tanks.
They are. Yeah.
Nate's all like, can I get help with my M grill in the back of my truck? I'm like, no. I'm way too old for that.
Right?
Like, no, get a forklift and bring it to the competitions. I ain't got time for it. But the good thing about an M grill, especially the M16, is how it is big. It is very, very heavy. But the thing is that it's good in a lot of different kind of weather situations, especially out here.
Oh yeah.
And probably where you are, because it snows, it gets really cold, and so in those competitions you kind of have a leg up because the insulation and all that fun stuff really keeps that heat very, very well.
Yes.
So it's really nice.
It is.
And so, yeah, Sandy was like one of the very first people, I think, sponsored by M Girls. One of the first. I know the first steak one for sure. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. And do you have any more people who sponsor you?
I am sponsored by Papo Joe's, which is Jason, Jerry, and Sharon Mazonic, and they're in Azle, Texas. And then I have Wicked Pig, obviously, and then White Lightning. And Grills and I'm forgetting one. Oh, Midwest Dust, which is the new line out of White Lightning, Boar's Night Out. So
nice.
Yeah.
So I just indirectly got her Friper profile. Boom. That's
nice.
How.
Well done. Well done.
Listen, I didn't go to school for this, okay? but I should be teaching journalism.
Good job, Rusty.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm not a hero. I'm just a man. I'm just a man. I'm not a hero.
Wow. Well played. How do you feel about that, Marissa? Do you not
really sly
anymore? You don't trust Rusty anymore.
No.
So that's cool. Actually, all those, they're very, very good. Like White Lightning is so good. Man, that stuff is awesome. My wife particularly likes it. She uses it all the time. And when I ran out, she got actual legit pissed. Like, hell. But I love putting rubs on hash browns. That's, I think, how you can tell a good rub is if it goes well on hash browns.
Or popcorn.
I've never tried it on popcorn.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Have you tried it on popcorn, Marissa?
I haven't, but that'd be so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I like messing with my popcorn. I like to get some like good butter and that's it. Good butter and popcorn.
Man, you're so basic.
Thank you. I really freaking appreciate it.
No, you know what I think is funny? Rusty, she says, I only do 31 competitions to the charity ones. 31. I can't even think about 31 competitions in 2 years.
I'm kind of over these Midwestern people kind of like throwing that in our faces all the time. Like
every time.
Oh, I just do 50. That's it.
It was a light year.
There's just one down the street, and then there's one across the street, and then there's one in my backyard, and I cannot
do one Friday night, a Saturday night, Sunday, and the occasional Monday. It's like a football league. Jeez.
We're over here like, all right, we have to drive 7 hours to this comp, and then we have to wait 3 months, and we have to drive 10 to this one.
Yep. You may be lucky to get 10 comps. Maybe.
Yeah, that is one thing, is like the expansion. Like I'm waiting for that time when it's going to expand and just be absolutely accessible to everyone.
Right. So what are your primary states that you do cook in? Are you like literally just straight the Midwest?
No, so I cooked in Oklahoma 3 times, and I did terrible in Oklahoma every single time. So I always swore that I would never go back to Oklahoma, but I will go back there. But I go to Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Missouri, Minnesota, Iowa, Arkansas. I think I've cooked in 9-10 states.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
What's your favorite comp? Like if you cannot miss one every year, what is it?
Jesse Dillon James Foundation Cook. It's in Searcy, Arkansas. It's for a little boy that committed suicide. So his parents built a foundation called the Jesse Dillon James Foundation. And that's what I'm going to school for, is suicide counseling. So the first time I went to their competition, we absolutely clicked. From then on out, I've had a relationship with his parents, and I get back there all the time, and I have a scholarship through them for school. And
nice.
That's a really cool vocation to go into. That's insane. That would be very rewarding, but that would be a tough one.
Yeah. Yes, it will be. Yeah, that's what everyone says, is like, are you going to make your cooking a career? And I always said, no, this is my outlet. I have something that's going to be way more emotionally tolling on me. And so this will always be my escape.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely. You would absolutely need one.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. And going to college and just cooking steaks and then doing your thing and cooking steaks. That's not bad. And so it's funny because you're just a little bit of a unicorn in that way, because like I said, so many people, you're doing so well that you can't not get the attention that you're getting. You can't not get the BBQ Champs Academy. You can't not get those things. That's super cool that you at least get to do those. I mean, looking back on it, you'd be like, dude, I crushed it. I was like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what my mom always told me, is she said something to someone once, and she goes, I don't think someone that's been cooking the SCA for 7 years could ever like wrap their head around winning worlds, let alone winning worlds for the first time. And as a 21-year-old, she goes, I think you'll look back on this in 50 years and be like, wow. And you'll realize like the magnitude of what this was.
Oh yeah. Right. 100%. Cause it's hard to do well. Trust me, as someone who cooks, I'm going to say 15 comps a year,
You're lucky.
If I'm lucky. And that's a lot for us, Marissa. It's hard to even, I got a 3rd place once, and that's about as far as I got, and I tried real hard because of course I was searing. So it's a little harder. I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but searing. Would you ever sear a steak for a competition, or have you ever seared a steak?
I have never seared a steak in competition, but I would definitely try it. And I think that's something that I wish would be on board more, because I think they're actually really pretty. So
they are.
So you vow on this podcast this evening that you're going to sear a steak and you're going to hashtag Sear Revolution.
Heck yeah.
There it is.
Now listen, Marissa, do you know how many people have said that they would and haven't?
I will do it.
So many people. Steve.
Jerry
Aguilar. Steve Conway.
Nate Benson?
Nate Benson didn't. No, I don't think.
Nate, did he ever?
One person said they absolutely wouldn't. Nate said that. So many people.
Yeah. Got it.
I wonder if did Matt say he would?
I think maybe, but he doesn't do steak anymore.
Matt doesn't do steak?
Crooked Pigs, Matt?
Matt. Oh, that's right. He does not. Huh?
Yeah,
that's right. Anyway, okay, we're digressing. So we're gonna hold you to that, and I want to see a steak revolution. Hashtag steak revolution. Use seared a steak at a competition, and let me tell you, the worst thing is you're gonna look at that steak and go, man, I just seared a beautiful steak. This steak is so gorgeous, and then what's gonna happen is
they're gonna give you 47.
They're gonna give you like a 46 in appearance.
She's like, nope. Yeah, not mine.
So then you're not going to do that. That's our struggle. But if we keep on doing it, it'll be cool and everyone will catch on. And like, we're finally getting to the point where you're getting 49s here. It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got a 49 appearance. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So what's something that like someone who's starting out in these competitions or, just getting whatever, what's the one piece of equipment that you have that you can't live without?
One piece of equipment.
Now that doesn't mean cooker. So the M girl's out. Anything else?
I was gonna say my M girl, but oh shoot. I personally can't live without my grill grates, but I know people that actually cook really beautiful steaks without grill grates. Don't know how they do, but I mean it's possible. But I would say grill grates.
Grill grates. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what's that?
I was like, well done. That's a good one.
Yeah. That was easy. That was too easy, Marissa. I think you got easy on that one.
So grill grates are out, M grill's out. What's your next step?
Yeah, and then the next one he says out too. Just kidding.
You can go ahead and say thermopan. It's fine.
I think that's what we're fishing for. Is that what we're subconsciously fishing for?
Okay, that's good. I was going to say my thermopan next, but I for sure thought you guys were going to say nah.
No, thermopan's important.
Yeah, very important.
Thermopan. It would be my thermopan. It would probably be my dot though, because I use my dot more than my thermopan.
Okay. There we go. That works. Do you have one of the new steak probes? The new needle probes?
The one?
It's the brand new needle probe.
So it's a little sous vide probe that's like itty bitty little needle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's only 2.5 inches long.
Yeah.
No, I need that though. I need that.
I know a guy.
He works there. That's why we're trying to plug it here. We're shamelessly plugging his place of business.
But Marissa, I have a question for you. You get off the stage of win the World Championship. I want to know how well you did in the Cowtown Classic.
Oh, that is so funny. I just talked about this. I got like close to dead last. I got third from last, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I was talking about that. I was like on such a high, and then they go through Cowtown, and I didn't get called, and I was like, oh, I wonder what I got, and so I walked back there, and I was like third from last, and I was like, oh,
ouch.
All right. Yeah.
We're not gonna talk about this until we're on the podcast.
That's why we took long to bring you on after that win, is so we could talk about the Cowtown Classic. You could feel good about yourself.
but like really, that's a humbling experience. Like, man, this game can change in just like matter of hours.
Yes.
So it's pretty intense.
But
yes.
It's consistency too is something that is hard to obtain in SCA. It's something that's interesting, I think. But I don't know. I don't know, because young and still judges are still maturing and things like that. Because like we talked about, like you have one judge thinking like tenderness is one thing, and another one thinks it's a whole other thing. And I feel like in KCBS, we've been doing it for so long that people get a real good idea of what that rib should taste like. I mean, we can tell you the tenderness of a rib. We can describe it to you. Mm-hmm. It's pull off the bone, should have to the bite. The bone should be clean. We know the tenderness, we know the pull, we know the bite. I think that there's got to be a way that we can do that with steak. And I think that'll eventually happen where people kind of come into, everyone understands what good tenderness of a steak should be. Mm-hmm. And I think that you'll start to see more people like being more consistent, because, I think it's a little wild west in some parts, like where you're at, where you have them all the time. They're probably pretty dialed in as the judges. I could be wrong. But out here, when we have them so far in few between, we're still like learning, and everyone's teaching. Like we're talking about St. George this weekend, this weekend, but in a couple weeks. They have a class right before the competition. Mm-hmm. That happens here all the time, So these people are wandering in from a class straight into a competition. And I think that once we get enough people in there doing them consistently, things will change. But I don't know. Is there something to it? I mean, being consistent in competitions?
I mean, I tried to be as consistent as possible, and still there were times where I would do the same exact thing every single weekend. And for example, there was a cook, and I think I got second or third, and the very next steak I did everything the same. It was a try hard. I went to the same exact internal temperature, and I think there was like 48 people-ish, somewhere around 50, and I got 47th, 45th, something like that. So it like shows you that even if you're so consistent and you do the same exact thing, those judges that just got switched out could not like it, and the first ones did. So
yeah. So coming up with a lot of people. So for a long time, every state competition was just steak. Now there's a lot of doubles. Doubles are pretty much the norm now. In fact, if there's a single state competition, everyone's like, oh, I'm not doing that one. What is it that, what are the things that you do in doubles that are different than singles that you can help with, like someone like, trying to do those? Is there a difference between the cooks? Do you feel like there's something more you have to do or something special you do for those?
Not necessarily. Just during singles, I just know that I only have one chance. So my practice steak, I know that for doubles, I have 2 practice steaks and I could get a read off of both of them. But for singles, you just have that one practice steak and you have to go from there. But for doubles, I always try to do everything at the same exact time. I cut all my steaks at the same exact time. I tie them all the same time. I try to do everything at the same time so that I have everything done for one piece, and then I can just go on to the next section and then just be more calm during the day.
Right. So here's the question with the doubles. Some people do it and some people don't, but do you empty your grill and then reload?
I add. So I have an Oklahoma Joe and I fill it all the way to the top for steak A, and then I pour it, and then right after I take my steak off, I turn my steak in, I'll come back and I'll pour 20 more briquettes, and then I never re-empty all the way unless it's a triple.
Got it. Okay. That's interesting because that's something I need to start looking into because I'm not very versed in the double world. That's not. But then when you sear, you don't have to worry about that stuff. Right? True. That's the reason to sear. You just clean a pan.
There you go.
And reheat the pan.
Except for you burned up one pan. You went with 2 pans. You burned 1 pan up, and that kind of.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I bring 2 pans.
Yeah. He doesn't clean nothing. He just brings 2 pans.
And then I just throw them away and I go buy a new one. I'm just constantly buying Lodge. Like I have like a punch card at Lodge now. It's like
so much easier. He's going off the whole Jerry Aguilar. If it's not disposable, you don't need it. It's not
disposable. I don't need it. I don't need that in my life. Okay, we're going to do one thing before we let you go.
All right, here we go.
It's going to be a rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
What's your favorite drink?
Oh. Okay, can it be an alcoholic beverage?
Yeah. It could be whatever you want.
Coors Light.
Coors Light. Summer or winter?
Winter.
What's your favorite number and why?
24. That was my basketball, soccer, and volleyball jersey all through high school.
Kobe Bryant is the answer that you're looking for.
There you go. Yeah.
Everybody knows that. Jeez. What scares you?
Oh, getting kidnapped.
Okay, yeah, that's
legit. I mean,
we're looking for insects, or if you want to go there, that's fine.
White vans
getting murdered. Oh my god. Fair.
Yeah.
What is something that you do not like doing?
Do not like doing? Oh, talking in front of crowds.
Okay. All right. Easy. Sunset or sunrise?
Sunrise.
What's your favorite food?
Pasta.
TV show?
Right now, Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen 1883?
Oh, quit it.
No, I haven't started yet.
Bro, get on it right now. What are you doing?
I will.
No, it's insane. 1883. In fact, you know what? It's almost done, so don't wait because it's one of those ones like, oh my gosh, I have to wait a whole week for this.
Again. Okay.
1883 is so good. Good.
I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah. I'm it's like one of those shows where people don't watch it, like you get jealous, like, man, that's so cool. All right. Describe yourself in 5 words.
Oh, 5 words. Okay. 5 words. Oh. I can't even think of 5 words. Okay.
I'll give you a hint. World champion.
There's one.
World champion. Okay, I like that one. I'm gonna say steak cooker.
That's 2. Is that 2? This is freaking cheating, by the way. Clothes wearer. I mean, you guys really want to know.
Consistent.
Air breather.
Consistent. Yeah.
Consistent. Okay. All right.
And crazy.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. There you go. So if you got kidnapped, you probably wouldn't be there long. You know, like, what the hell?
And then what about
give her back?
What about your favorite podcast?
Yeah, favorite podcast. Oh,
no, I'm just kidding. Pitmasters.
Of course, you listen every single week.
Right.
We know that.
Yeah, we know. We see the numbers.
We see the numbers. We do. I don't know if it's you or not. It should be, though.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Marissa? It was so fun hanging out with you today, and hanging out with you, period. And we wish you luck in everything, and we really wish you cook a lot more steak stuff. But
thank you. Yeah.
Good luck in school and all that stuff.
Thank you.
You guys go to the BBQ Champs Academy and take her class. If you guys are getting into steak, it's something that you'd really want to get into and do. I highly suggest anything on that BBQ Champs Academy. We are not sponsored, but we freaking should be.
Right. Listen here, Mike. Hint.
All I do is watch. I mean, come on, man. I should get I've bought like 45 of these classes. Anyway, so go there. Where else can people find you, Marissa?
Instagram. I have a SCA Instagram, which is SCA World Champ _Ouverson.
Okay.
And then I'm on Instagram and Facebook, but no, I don't have a world champion page for Facebook yet. So.
Okay. Well, there you go. And so, and how much is your class? Let's pimp that for a second. Talk about that just for a sec before we take off.
Yeah. So I have the longest class. It was over 8 hours of facts, information, everything from starting your grill, tying, and then you'll have the all-inclusive, you'll have the Facebook, and it is $179. So you go on there, you can get that. You can go watch it anytime you want. Yeah, the Facebook page is obviously open 24/7. Ask any questions, and I'll be there as soon as possible. Answer any questions. Message me personally. Anything.
And you know, a lot of people say $179 is a lot. It's really not. Skip one steak comp and go take that class.
Yeah.
Even if you learn, this is what someone asked me the other day because I went and took a class out in Illinois. They're like, well, what'd you get out of it? I go, man, if I go to a class and I learn 1 or 2 things and I can put that in my belt, you know, and in my tool belt and use it, I've done something good. I've invested in myself. I've invested time in what I like to do. And if you want to cook steak, get on there and take those classes. Take Marissa's class and learn, because you're going to learn something, and you might learn it might blow your mind, or you might like just learn 2 or 3 things, and that's really important. And that's stuff that can take you from good to great. So don't be afraid to get on there and take classes, guys, because it's the most important thing you can do for yourself. And trust me, I've seen people just go out there and go, I'm just going to cook a steak. Why did I take last place? And then keep on going out there. And
you don't take Marissa's class. That's why.
Exactly. So appreciate your time and coming on and hang out with us. And we will probably see you down the road, since we have to drive to where you are to do comps.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter.
I'll be out there soon, so it's okay.
Oh, cool. Awesome. All right. Well, hey, thanks so much again. That was super awesome. That was fun.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
All right.
As world champion, Marissa Ouverson.
I thought you were going to say world champion.
World.
She's the champion of worlds.
The world champion for another 2 weeks, unless she goes back to back.
That would be crazy.
Right?
That would be crazy. We hope you enjoyed that one, guys. If you want to follow us on socials, we're at thepitmasterspodcast.com. If you follow us on social, you can follow us there. Go to thepitmasterspodcast.com. You can follow us on the socials. You can also listen to the podcast there if you want. But you can follow us at the Pitmasters Podcast. You can follow me at Salt City Barbecue, spelled out with a C, on all the socials. You can follow Anthony at Smoke Ain't No Joke on all the socials. And he will be heading down to Texas here in a couple weeks. You can follow his journey there. And everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. And dang it, if we don't see you next week, I don't know who will.
All right.
See ya.
Peace.